Hi, everybody. It's Laura Keller here with the We Know Lanark County podcast. And I'm here today with Christine McCormack, who is running the fourth annual Carleton Place Comic Con with her husband. And I invited her here to talk about what to expect next week. So, Christine, tell me a little bit about you and your background.
Well, I have absolutely no background when it comes to comic books and geek stuff. This is the brainchild of my husband, John. He started it with a couple of friends back in I think it was 2017. It's our fourth year, and we couldn't have it last year. So,
Yeah, yeah.
we started it when my husband told me he wanted to do something like this. My only contribution at the time was, well, if you want it to be successful, why don't you try and have it on Family Day? Make it a family
Right.
event. Everything is closed in Ontario. There's not a lot for people to do, and in Carleton Place especially. So that was what I suggested, and so they ran with that, and they started it up. They and we had a really good first year. A lot of people came, people were excited, and we've had generally really good success. No less than, let's say, 500 people at one of our last events.
Wow.
I had pulled up the numbers just to take a look. So our first year was our biggest, and the third year was a good number. The second year was a little bit lower, but I mean, it's really good. We get a lot of interaction, a lot of fun. People come dressed for cosplay. They're excited to come. They bring their kids. This year it's going to be a little different just because in previous years we had even a kids corner where we had various toys. Kids could sit down and play or color or do any of those things to give the parents a little bit of a break
Right.
and give them something, because we're promoting it as a family event.
Yeah.
So this year is a little different because we can't have all of that kind of touch happening, but we are going to have a scavenger hunt for the kids,
Oh, wow.
where they'll be given a piece of paper with pictures where they have to go around and find it matched, and the vendors will stamp their card,
Oh, how
and
cool.
whether they complete it or not, once they've done their due diligence and looked around, because it's for anyone 12 and under, right? So then they can go back to the table, and they'll get a prize or a sucker or a candy, something like that, a
Amazing.
little toy for them, just to, and it'll get people circulating to see the vendors as well, but it's
Right.
something fun for the kids. And as well, uh, our sponsor, Exit Realty, are going to be providing a face painter as well.
Oh, how
So
cool.
a bit of a modified version of face painting, but
Right.
a lot of those things are just above that mask, right? And
Yes.
things like a Captain America mask is pretty easy to do over
Totally.
over the medical mask, right? So I was really pleased to find that out, that they're offering that up. So we'll have that for the kids. We're going to have the Ottawa TARDIS will be there. We have somebody coming
Ooh.
with a Dalek.
What is
The
what is a Dalek?
So a Dalek is a machine from Doctor Who. I don't
Okay.
I don't watch Doctor Who, but it's a big deal having the Dalek here. It's like a
Okay.
almost like a cone on wheels, and it
Okay.
moves around, and it's got little guns on it and stuff, and
Oh,
it'll
how
move around.
fun.
And then Clarence Rockland Ghostbusters are coming. Again, they were at our last event. They reached out to us. We didn't know about them. They came. They walk around in full costume with the backpack gears and the
Get
whole
out.
whole thing. They have an inflatable Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. It's about 13 feet tall. It'll be in the main room
Oh,
because at the arena, because the big room has the higher ceilings.
right.
So
Yeah.
they're going to have that, and they're also bringing their Ekmobile as well. That'll be
No
parked
way.
parked outside. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So hopefully, as long as it doesn't really snow a whole lot, because it might
Right.
ruin the whole Ekmobile thing. But so we have those things, and then kids are encouraged to come and do cosplay. We've procured a couple of backdrops so that we can have a photo space for people to take pictures with the background, and then just like pow or zap or
Oh, I
whatever
love
on a
it.
stick, that they can
Yeah, like a
they can
photo
do
booth.
that. So some low risk touch things are
Hmm.
happening to still make it family friendly for the kids. And of course, we're pretty much full up with vendors. We've got over 40 vendors that are coming
Wow.
with a variety of we have comic vendors, we have toy vendors, we have artists,
Yeah.
authors. And a lot of these businesses make their own custom items related
Wow.
to the geek world. There's a company coming that does wood burning. We've got another one, always very popular, that does sandblasting on the glass, like on
Okay.
glasses and stuff with all
Yeah.
the symbols, like
It's such a
really.
niche market, those types of things, but like if you know your customer, and these people do, right? Like
Oh yeah,
these vendors really know who they're targeting.
the
It's such a great opportunity for people who are into those things to have some exposure, especially without having to go to Ottawa or Toronto or San Diego or whatever to go to a bigger event.
yeah, and it's you know February is usually quite blah.
Very
You,
blah.
you know, can be cold and dreary. There's no statutory holidays other than that. And I say that because my day job, I work for the federal government, so we don't
Okay.
actually get family day off. So it's a long stretch, right? So
Right.
it's a fun time to do it. Um, so we're excited. This year, we're going to have a room at the arena. The boardroom off of the side is going to be for tabletop games and a bit of a lounge area for cosplayers to just go and sit and meet up with each other. We've also
Nice.
invited the 501st
Yeah.
people, but they haven't confirmed yet. I know that
Okay.
they've accepted our application and reaching out to their members to see who might be available to come and do it. So we're
Right.
hoping that they will be there as well.
Fingers
Perhaps,
crossed.
perhaps with Shoot a Trooper,
Right.
So
Oh, cool.
yeah,
For
so
people who don't know, what is the 501st? Who are they? Or what do they do?
so it's I guess so. I originally thought they were only from Ottawa, but it's apparently a very large organization, at least across North America,
Oh,
perhaps
I didn't
bigger.
know.
But it's a group that they get dressed up in full Star Wars, full Star Wars get up and go to all these Comic Cons and walk around Darth Vader with the breathing and um, they're just there like stormtroopers, everything there to just interact with the fans and take
Yeah.
pictures. And sometimes so the shoot a trooper, if they have it, they'll have like a screen background and they have these electric Nerf guns that the kids can just shoot at the stormtroopers or at
Oh
Darth
my
Vader,
gosh.
and they usually have suction cups on the darts.
How
But
fun.
but I'm not sure if they still do that.
Yeah.
That could be a low touch thing as
Right.
long as they're collecting the darts and just sanitizing the
Yeah.
guns between kids, right? So we're
I
we're
remember
really hoping.
they were in the Almont, one of the Almont parades several years ago, must have been 5 years ago or something. And I had taken my son at the time, I think he was like 4 and really just getting into Star Wars. And when he saw Kylo Ren walk down the street, he bolted. He thought the world was going to end. He was so scared. It's such a fun memory though, because they really are so realistic.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. So fingers crossed that
Yeah,
they'll be able to join us, and we're able to set up. And we're really fortunate, I guess. The capacity restrictions are lifted on the 21st, which is Family
amazing.
Day. So we don't have to monitor the capacity as much,
Yeah,
other than conforming to the capacity limits of the hall
sure.
itself. And that will allow us to have a bigger clientele and more interaction. And, you know, geeky people love this stuff.
They
My
do.
husband is the one who has all of this background he knows obscure things about comic books and stories and characters, all of these sorts of things. My
Yeah,
house
tell me
is,
about John. Like what made him get into this sort of thing?
I'm not really sure. I think he said he used to collect comic books when he was a kid, and
Right.
he had a collection, but he hadn't really overly been involved with it for quite a while. And then he started getting back into it, and he started going to the comic conventions again when they were around, and he started
Mm.
collecting more. My house is an homage to uh, even though this is a podcast, so there's no video. He was saying to me that I should wear the Ant-Man helmet for this interview. Wear the Ant-Man helmet. I could have put that on with the giant Thanos
Oh my
gauntlet we have
gosh.
here. Yeah, he's very, very passionate about comic books and that whole, it's almost like a culture, really.
And he really just wanted to bring it to Carleton Place
He,
and
well, he wanted to bring it to Carleton Place, but he wanted to have his own event. He really, my husband tends to be an introvert,
okay.
but when it comes to something like this that he's really passionate about, he really comes out of his shell. He really enjoys going around and talking to the vendors and meeting them, and just people of like minds. He really, really enjoys that. And
Does he get dressed up for the
no,
day?
no, he doesn't. Although now, so my husband has a quite a long, large white beard, and he just finished watching the Hobbit movies, and
Yeah.
he's like, I could go as Gandalf now. So
Yes.
he's starting, but he likely won't. He likely won't dress up in that manner, but he will make sure that he wears, his Hulk hoodie and
Yeah.
a comic t-shirt. It'll be a collection of different characters and potentially even different universes. So
I know my kids are going to have a very hard time choosing which costume to wear because we have a whole half of the closet dedicated to costumes. So it's going to be a tough choice. We're
how
into
how
Miles Morales at the moment, and
okay.
Captain America is always sort of there. So
So how old are your kids
my two
now?
boys are 9 and 6.
Oh, yes,
So right in that wheelhouse.
yeah, it's a fun age,
It's
and
so
they enjoy
fun.
it. My son is now 13, and he's
Okay.
past all of that.
Right.
It's all about just, he could go, potentially as Kylo Ren if he really wanted to, because he's all about
Yes.
the hoodies,
Right.
all about the
Well,
hoodies.
that's
And
it's one of those things about cosplay, which um, for a lot of people who are introverts or even just shy or have, you know, intellectual or mental disabilities, it's such a great opportunity to be somebody else and kind of break out of your shell without, people knowing who you are or being judged or anything.
Yeah. Well, we've had and yeah, I can't think of a negative experience that we've had there.
Yeah.
And a lot of them tend to know each other now in the
Right.
community, especially the vendors, right? So, for an example, my husband went to the winter edition of Comic Con, and he was upset because he didn't actually get to do a whole lot of browsing because every second step people knew him and would stop him and have a conversation with
Of
him,
course.
because they all know each other,
Yeah.
and he wanted to be able to browse, but also seeing people after being shut in for so long. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so really it's his brainchild, um but
And like
yes,
you said, a
he's
really positive experience for everybody. Like there's really no negative part of this thing. Like people are just allowed to be themselves.
yeah, yeah, and it'll be exciting. We have one of the vendors where we have a couple of new vendors, and a couple of them have already said they're going to be full on dressed.
Amazing.
We've got somebody who's going to be full on Obi-Wan Kenobi. We have another
Amazing.
vendor who has a life-size Deadpool.
Wow.
So, that they'll be bringing. So those are items that might make their way onto the scavenger hunt.
Amazing. Good hint. Good
Yeah,
clue.
still got to find them. Like we have two both full halls at the
Yes.
arena
Okay.
upstairs. So there's the larger hall and the smaller hall, but they're both full now.
Amazing.
Vendors and yeah, toys, comics, activities, and we're going to be able to, because of the easing of restrictions, we're going to run the kitchen, a small kitchen,
Oh,
just
perfect.
to help with people who need to take a break or eat. Then we've got
Yeah.
some space for them to sit and eat, and we'll have that, and any of the proceeds from that as well will be donated back to the food bank, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So tell me about the food bank. Why did you choose that to as your charity of choice?
I think when we started, it was just, I, I honestly can't remember, but I know that my way of thinking at the time, and that may be why we went that way, is that after, they get a huge influx during the holidays,
Right.
and then people tend to forget, right?
Yes.
There's all this focus during the holiday season, and they get it, and then people tend to forget, and
Hmm.
it's a charity where we can help them during like their downtime, right? And it's funny because with the pandemic and all these different things that have happened, um, sometimes they've actually seemed to be doing a lot better, but they've always been our charity of choice, just because we want to make sure that they would have what they need
Hmm.
outside of those big push periods, right?
Yeah.
And I know that our last one, Counselor Toby Randall, not yeah, Toby
Yep. Toby
Randall, yeah.
Randall. Yeah.
I get it's sometimes I feel wrong because it sounds like Tony Randall. And young people won't get that reference, but older people will know what I'm talking about. So, but Toby, and I know him from the arena because my son plays
Right.
hockey, right? So,
Okay.
but Toby will come, and he comes and takes pictures and advertises it because it's the food bank is one of his projects, I think.
And it's one of
And
those organizations here that really does serve the local community, right? It's not like it's a big organization that's Ontario driven or Ottawa driven or national. And it's been used a lot this past year with especially with COVID and job losses. And I know
yeah,
they've been struggling. So it's nice to see. Um, Um,
And
sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was going to say, I tend to forget. Sometimes I just thought I'd mention that um, we're gonna, I'll end up posting it on our event page, but they usually will have on their page, they'll have a list of their most needed items
Right.
at the time, right? So we'll be able to give them cash because people are very generous, right? They
Hmm.
come in, it's adult, so the entrance for anyone 12 and older is non-perishable food item or $1. And we have people who come in and go, give you $10 and say, there you go. And
Yeah.
they head on in. So we're able to support that. But every year I put up their list of that they usually have up, their 10
Hmm.
most wanted items. The other thing that people don't really think about when it's the food bank is they have a need for um, personal care items, um, pet
Yes.
food. I had asked them about pet food, that they
Hmm.
can use pet food. They said, they run out of a lot of dry dog food, that kind of stuff. There are things
Hmm.
outside of just regular food items
Yeah.
that they also require. So
Yeah.
we try and raise that awareness
And the
as well.
cash that they get too, they have way better purchasing power than we do going to the grocery store, right? Because they have relationships with the grocery stores, so they get better deals on food. And we do a lot of fundraising for the food bank as well, usually leading up to Christmas, like a lot of other people do. But we know that cash really helps out for sure. So this is the fourth year of the Carleton Place Comic Con. How has it sort of evolved from year one, or what have you guys learned? What I'm sure the planning has changed a little bit, but what else has evolved?
I mean, the first year we didn't use our space as efficiently as we could have, so we had less vendors, and we didn't use our space, so that got stronger for sure in the second year, and the it really was a learning curve, hosting an event like that and partnerships and working with different people, trying to make sure that everything is done. And because there are only a few of us, so really we need a lot of volunteers to
Mm.
help us. We depend on um, friends to come in and help us. And John and I use our sons now as slave labor
That's
to be
right.
in there to uh, to to do that, and we've learned how to operate more efficiently, how to set up the flow of traffic better, and I think from the third the third session we realized that we would be able to run a canteen,
Right.
right? After once we were in our third year, because so one of my friends is going to run the kitchen for us. She's been
Wow.
talking about it since the last one. She's been waiting. For 2 years, she's so excited to do it. And but what she was doing before is she decorates cakes in her spare time and
Oh
quite
wow.
nicely. And she would make pull apart cupcakes for us and stuff. And the first year
Oh
she came in,
cool.
she did a Chewbacca one. I sent her the picture. She did it. It was just unbelievably amazing. And she would
Wow.
do all that. But she actually said to me, she goes, you know, I think you could have a kitchen and sell food. She goes, I'm going to run that for you.
Wow.
And so she's been very excited to do that. So that's something new that we've learned we can do. And then the
Yeah.
challenge was to figure out now, okay, so where are we going to put people to eat? How are we
Yeah.
using our space, right? So, and there are things that we did in previous years that we couldn't have
Yeah.
here.
Of
So like
course.
in year three we had it's called Parliament. It's all the Lego people. They come with all their big Lego setups
Oh
and they
wow.
display and show it, but they haven't been doing shows because
Right.
everybody wants to touch them,
Yeah.
especially the little
Fair enough.
kids. And at our last event, we also had a virtual reality set up as well, and
Right.
they're not running the same anymore.
Yeah.
Although my son did offer to bring his Oculus. But
Aw,
he's
that's
13.
sweet.
It's not so much of an awe, but I had to say to him, it's a lot of cleaning and
Yes, it's a
sanitizing
lot of
between
cleaning,
things. So
but nice
I
thought.
said, yeah, but so probably not this year. But
No.
so we've come up with other things, and we're looking forward to it. It's getting so close now,
Yeah.
and I'm just gearing up. I actually took the week off of my regular
Oh,
my regular work to get ready, because there's a lot involved in
people
getting.
don't realize all the logistics and the planning that goes into large events like this. So, man, you guys do a lot of work. Um, and because you've missed a year with COVID, you kind of have to get back into the swing of things, right?
Yeah, and the vendors are excited, and
Yeah.
the our niche market that we have are very excited too,
Yeah.
to have something starting up again.
Yeah.
And if truth be told, my husband, if he could, he'd hold this twice a year. I made the mistake of
Well,
saying to him one time, it'd be really great is if we could get the arena in the summer and just get the whole pad. So
look
I
out
guess I
2023.
I guess I have only myself to blame, but it would have to
You're an
be in the
enabler.
it would have to be in the summer, right? Because
Right. Yeah, of course.
with the unless everybody wants to go skating in their cosplay.
But hey,
Actually,
that's a
you know
new
what?
idea. It couldn't hurt.
We should maybe combine it. They're having a free skate that day as
Oh,
well.
right.
It'd be really
Yes.
funny to have some cosplayers out there in their
Yeah,
feet skating
Chewbacca skating
around.
around. Maybe a little top heavy though. I don't know.
Well, depends on what they're, we could get some little princesses out there skating. Who knows? So,
um, yeah, I mean, I think it's such a great thing that you guys are doing, you and John, and I know the community really appreciates it because, like you said, you do have a really good turnout. It's nice to have some of these things that are more local for our small-ish town.
our quickly expanding town, yes.
Yes, quickly expanding. Yes, the biggest growing town in all of Canada, apparently. So, um, yeah, you might need the whole pad of the arena next year.
Well, I mean, we'll see. Like we've had vendors contact us now saying, "Oh, I just realized, can you keep me in mind for next year?" So
Right.
we're gonna have, if I suppose if we're lucky, we'll be in the position where we have too many applications.
Yeah.
So, but
Well, it's such a great thing to look forward to, especially like you said in February when we're all kind of feeling very blah, and it's so fun to put on a couple of costumes and see what else is out there beyond our usual world.
yeah. And we're fortunate that so Exit Realty, who've been here just a year, had
Yes.
reached out about helping with some sponsoring us, which will enables us to do more. And they're interested in being involved in the community as a new business. And
Yeah.
as well, Mavericks Donuts had reached out about coming as well, and they're going to be doing some themed donuts and
Oh, how fun.
donating a portion of their sales to the food bank as well.
Amazing.
Being a new business, wanting to be involved in the community. So
Yeah.
as the town is growing, so are the businesses, and it's nice to see that businesses want to get involved with
Yeah.
our community. So
Sponsorship is so nice to have so that, like you said, you can do more for the food bank specifically in this case, but for the town in general. Um it's important that everybody get involved. So
well, just to give you an idea of how far reaching some of the, I guess, the advertising ends up being is, I received a message today from somebody who's in Montreal thinking of coming down because they're
wow.
looking for specific things. I don't know if they realize that we're we're a small community, small town. It's quite the trip, but don't underestimate how much they
Right.
love these events,
Yeah.
we get people over from Gatineau, Brockville. They've come from I think we've had people from Prescott and Long Sault. They come from around for the activity,
Yeah.
so it's good. And I'm hoping that it's just as much fun for everybody, even though we still have to take some of the measures, but
Yeah.
it should be hopefully should be a fun event. I
Yes.
look forward to seeing you and your little superheroes.
That's right. We'll be there for sure. So for people who haven't been to the event before, what do they need to know to prepare, and what do they need to bring?
So so I would suggest cash. Not all of the vendors
Mm,
have machines like Square or whatever. Some
yes.
do, a lot of them don't. They're smaller businesses, right?
Hmm.
So, and there used to be a cash machine in the arena, but with the renovations that have been happening, that machine is
Hmm.
not there anymore. So people
Okay.
should ensure that they have cash with them, that they bring a non-perishable food item for people, for anybody who's 12 and over.
Hmm.
And as well, 1 week left, but they will need to have their QR code for their vaccine passport
Right.
with them
Yes.
one 1 week. So, and hopefully people will be kind and respectful, because the people who
Hmm.
are, like I said, most of these people are volunteers who are
Yeah, of
helping us.
course.
We actually have a lot of high school students this year who are coming
Great.
in to get their hours, and so, and come dressed as you wish. It is a very accepting place, as you were saying.
Hmm.
If you enjoy the tabletop games, you can bring your own packs, I guess it is. I'm not familiar with that piece either. I'm the gentleman who owns Kessel Run Games in Orleans.
Yes.
They're
Uh-huh.
coming out, and he'll be taking care of that room
Oh,
for us
perfect.
for the
Nice.
tabletop games and stuff, because I really don't know much about them.
Better to let the expert deal with it, right?
Yeah. So that's the basic thing. It starts at 10 in the morning on the 21st, ends at 4. We're also going to be having draws, um, hourly draws. We're getting door prizes donated by our vendors, and
Amazing.
in an effort to modernize, but also keep our touch capacity,
Hmm.
contact low, we'll be doing it using QR codes. So
Oh,
people
cool.
should perhaps, if you don't have a QR code reader, download it on your phone,
Hmm.
then we'd suggest that you do that, because this way it'll all be automated. QR code takes you to a form. You just fill out your form quickly, downloads into an Excel document, and then we've got a randomizer that will pick winners.
Wow.
Probably, we're planning on an hourly basis.
Amazing. That is
So
very cool.
yeah.
And the other thing for people, if they haven't been to the arena before, that you can go up the steps directly to the hall, but there's also an elevator through the main arena part. So it should be a fully accessible event. Is that right?
Yes. So because of the screening that we need to do, and the the arena has other activities happening that day. They'll
Hmm.
have a free skate at noon, and then there's a Canadians game, I
Hmm.
think at 3 in the afternoon.
Hmm.
So the entrance into our event will be the entrance to the on the corner of the building that
Hmm.
runs along Nealon,
Okay.
and you will be screened at that entry point, but that entry point gives you easy access to go over to the elevator by
Right.
turning left or up
Perfect.
the stairs, right? So
Great.
that way we can ensure that people will be screened, and we have bracelets to put to give people
Oh,
to put on,
perfect.
so that we know that they've been screened. So if in and out, if they leave and they want to come back, we do not need to check their QR code again because they will have the bracelets, right? So, and also just to be aware, because of those other events that are happening, parking will be at a premium if you come later. If you come, I would say later in the day around 2, you probably start having more of a challenge just because of the hockey game that day. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Before we go, I want to ask you, since you also live here, what is your favorite part about Lanark County? What's the hidden gem that nobody else knows about, since this podcast is about Lanark County?
It's
a
funny
store
because,
or a place, or
well, I'm just trying to think. I have a special place in my heart. Like we have a trailer up at Mal's campground, and we love driving.
Nice.
We love driving through Ferguson Falls and the river there, and we enjoy the little town of Lanark, even though it's very small. Their pizzeria,
blink and you miss it.
We've ordered from the pizzeria really good food. My husband, who's very excited to fish again, and he can't wait for things to start up so he can go fishing. But he went out and he found himself a nice little corner gem in Lanark to go fishing. We enjoy it there. The river where we are at Mal's is a beautiful campground. And I would have to say that that would be my favorite spot.
Yeah. It's a great little area.
And I love walking through downtown Carleton Place, to be honest. In the summer, I was walking everywhere, and I really enjoy the path that they created out of the old railway, the trail, the train tracks. Like, it's just beautiful on the bridge over the river. So I enjoy that. You can walk just about anywhere you need in town if you.
It's true. Or even bike, you can bike to Almont without having to go on the highway,
I haven't been on a bike in a long time. And and I tried in the summer, and maybe that bike was too big, but you know what they say about, it's like riding a bike? It's not all the time.
It's not as easy as that.
No. It's not like riding a bike. It's like trying to ride a bike and almost falling off of it again. Or not being able to control your direction.
Well, that's great. And I love hearing about, that you enjoy the community, and especially the outdoors, that there's so much here to offer for people who love being outside, as well as shopping and dining and everything else.
Oh, it's beautiful. I'm so grateful that I was able to move here.
Mm-hmm.
So I lived in Ottawa till I was 35, I guess. And then I bought my house out here. And wouldn't you know, I moved out here, bought the house, and then 2 months later, I met my husband, who was living in Ottawa.
Oh no. But you converted him.
Yeah, he came out and but I really enjoy the town. I really enjoy, you can find some really hidden, really good places, even downtown, I like living here.
It's great.
Really, really enjoy it here.
Yeah.
And I enjoy, and then in the summer, like going through Ferguson Falls and Lanark in our trailer right on the Clyde River and stuff is just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, we're very lucky, for sure. Well, thanks so much for joining me today, Christine. It was such a pleasure talking to you, and we will see you on Monday at the Arena 75 Nealon in Carleton Place.
Yeah. Thanks for the opportunity to talk about it.
Yeah, it was a great conversation. We'll see you again soon.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, bye.